Alright, so what is up, YouTube? My name is Trendy, though if you're here, you probably already know that, and today we are going to be continuing our playthrough of Tiny Bunny. I haven't touched this game in quite a while, but hopefully we can get back into the groove of things. Give me one moment while I check some things. Alright, so if you guys notice a difference in the quality of my audio, I actually got a new mic for my birthday a couple days ago, so we're going to be trying it out. Alright, so Mom is asking us where our glasses are. If I remember correctly, last time we might have gotten chased inside, or maybe we're coming back from getting beat up, I can't remember.
Да, ну, мам...
И как можно быть таким рассеянным? Ты думаешь, я деньги печатаю? Как же? Будешь до следующего года в старых очках ходить.
А я лису видела!
Okay, did she mean an actual fox or the weird girl that's following us around? Saw a fox. Surprise akin to a shotgun blast. I could only flap my lips in reply. The cup shattered into many little pieces with a loud bang. Well, loud thang. My mom let it fall from her hands. Her face was pale and her eyes were glued to the ground. This pause, just a split second, felt like eternity. Then my mom spoke with disappointment.
То сова, то лиса.
First it was an owl, now it's a fox.
Когда ж тебе
Will you ever
надоест?
get tired of this?
Правда, правда!
But it's true.
Такая пушистая!
She was so fluffy. To be fair, don't you guys live, like, in the middle of the woods? Wouldn't it be normal for her to see shit?
Она у забора стояла на задних лапах, совсем как человек.
Just like a person. Never mind, not normal stuff.
Она меня позвала, а тут мама вышла, и лиса убежала.
Mom came and she fled.
Не было там никакой лисы.
There was no fox. Okay, so never mind, not normal
Не выдумывай.
woods things. Let me...
Не подходи к ней.
Things up, don't go near her. If it was necessary, I was ready to shake my sister as if she was a doll made of cloth.
Ты чего, Тоша?
What's wrong, Tosha?
Не подходи, слышишь?
Don't go, you hear me? My mom entered the hallway and gave me a surprised look. I
Ну,
hesitated.
лиса ведь укусить может.
Well, a fox will bite you. If I remembered fairy tales where foxes used to kidnap... Oh, I remembered fairy tales where foxes used to kidnap children. I imagined Alyssa liberated, carnivorous, running through the night forest with a dangling sack in her hands.
Это ж была не настоящая
It
лиса.
wasn't a real
Расскажи
fox.
ему, Оль.
Tell him, Olya.
Она на двух ногах ходила,
She
а еще
wore
была в
a
платье.
dress,
Только она была взаправду.
and she was real.
Видишь?
See? Mom showed us a tired smile as if that was the only explanation needed. I also forced myself to smile. My smile was like a thin piece of soap right before it dissolves completely in your palm. But when I was left alone with my sister, I
Еще
whispered,
раз увидишь ее,
if you
беги.
see her again, run. Good advice. I shut my eyes and threw the vitamins in my mouth, washed them down with water. Please stop driving me mad, please. I was doing my homework on Friday evening like usual. You paint for homework? That's kind of cool. I'd already finished the hard part. There's only my art homework left, my favorite subject. I will draw. Triceratops? Yes. I wanted to draw a dino at first, but my brush reached towards the orange paint all by itself. Wish I could see what color that was. Oh, my shit. Oh, fuck. Great. One stroke after another, the picture of a fox started slowly forming on a piece of paper. She was almost popping out of the snow-white sheet. She stood on her back legs and wore a sly smile. My brush moved again, drawing a fluffy tail. A moment later, I dropped out of my weak hand. After I finished my drawing, I spent a while studying in surprise, as if I couldn't understand where this red beast had come from. Ah, is this gonna be a fucking jump scare? The longer I looked, the scarier her smile felt. Carnivorous, fake, like the smiles of women from adult magazines that were sold in press kiosks back in the city. An alluring smile that masked a deep-seated malice, and the fox's eyes turned out red as if bloodshot. They looked more like bullet holes you see in action movies. I don't remember drawing them this way. I moved away from the table and the lamp's light reflected from the wet paint. The drawing was glossy. I felt like the fox was watching me, waiting.
Антон!
Gee, thanks, Dad. What a dick. Give me one moment, I'm just gonna share that I'm streaming.
Ты что, оглох?
Я задумался.
Тебя спрашиваю, ты сестру не видел? Опять она где-то прячет.
Something moved under my bed and I froze. Olia's dirty face peeked out with her finger pressed to her lips.
Оля, я тебя вижу. Вылезай, ты же в пыли вся.
Okay. Why are you yelling? Olia crawled from under the bed and started dusting off her stockings, looking down.
Пойдем, Оль. Я тебе сказку почитаю. Посижу с тобой, пока не уснешь.
Я с вами спать хочу. Не в той комнате.
I want to sleep with you, not in that room.
Там.
Mom entered the room.
Что, опять сова?
What,
А кто ж
Olia?
еще?
And what do you
Оль,
think?
она не придет. Я ее прогнал.
Chase it away. Olia shook her head in defiance.
Не прогнал.
You didn't.
Она придет.
It will come.
Она сказала, что будет
It says
каждую
that it will
ночь.
come every night.
О, так она у тебя говорящая?
Olia ignored the question and then asked with newfound determination.
Можно я с вами посплю? Можно?
Please.
В самый последний
This will
раз.
be the last time.
Ты же говорила, что последний раз
You
был
said
вчера.
yesterday was the last time.
Ольга, ты уже большая девочка.
Wait, Olga? I thought it was Olya. You're a big
А
girl
пусть у
now.
меня
Why don't
ложится.
you let her sleep in my room? I thought it was a great idea, but Olya shook her head.
Нет, у
No, I
тебя
don't
не
want your
хочу.
room. It
Она и
watches
на...
you too. Creepy. I felt goosebumps all over my body.
Хватит!
Enough.
Нет никакой ты
No,
сегодня.
I'll
Спишь у
sleep
себя,
in your
ясно?
own room tonight, got it?
Ну, пожалуйста,
Mom, please.
пожалуйста.
Please. Mom took Olya's hand and tried to lead her out of my room.
Пойдем, милая.
Let's
Не
go,
мешай
please.
брату.
Don't bother your brother. God, the mom looks so fucking evil.
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста, пожалуйста.
Please, please, please.
Не хочу к ней.
I don't want to go to it. Mom was tugging Olya towards herself, but she didn't budge. Only the bed's head squeaking in agony. Dad intervened by picking Olya up and carrying her out of the room despite her desperate protests and pleas.
Не надо.
Even if you don't believe your kid, like, that they're seeing something, if they're that terrified, you should at least, like, look into it. Even if it's not, like, what they say it is, you should look. Or you should take them seriously enough to at least investigate. No, don't take me to it. It's going to watch me again. I've listened to them struggling to make my sister go to bed for a while. In the end, my parents gave up and let Olya sleep with them. But it was surely the last time ever. That doesn't sound good. When everybody settled down, I was lying in my room thinking about Olya's words. It's watching you too. I felt uncomfortable. I barely managed to calm down, only after closing the curtains and my room shut. But as soon as I closed my eyes, memories of my day started to jump around in front of me. I was in the middle of the stuffy school corridor. I can see the literature classroom from here, the faces of dead classical writers on their portraits, and the prim and regal pose of our homeroom teacher, Lilia Pavlovna. And around the corner was her daughter, Katya, a snitch and a gossip, eagerly waiting for me.
Эй, новенький!
Hey, transfer student.
Чего тебе,
What
Кать?
do you want, Katya? She got on her tiptoes and started swaying while hiding her hands behind her back, then asked me with a fake smile on her face. Can I ask you
Скажи,
something? Why
пожалуйста,
did you get
а
transferred
чего
here?
это тебе?
I might have told the truth about this to Polina, but Katya will sell it on the market for 3 kopikas. It would be the same as printing all my thoughts and hanging them near Vova's picture for everyone to see. So I reverted to an answer I knew by heart.
Это все из-за моих
It's all
родителей. У
because of my
папы тут
parents.
новая
Dad
работа,
has a new
а
job
мама...
here, and
Мама...
my mom. But Katya didn't even seem to listen to me. She just rushed towards the perked up ears of her friends, whispered something while stealing glances at me and gave
Да, конечно.
Yeah,
У нас
right.
тут совсем за
Because
дурачков.
those all
Я
fools.
вот слыхала,
I've heard it's all
что это
because of his
он
father.
недавно
He
кому-то
crossed the
крутому
road with some
дорогу
big
перешел,
shot, and now their
и теперь
family
они
is
всей
hiding in
своей
a
семейкой...
little remote village.
Неправда!
That's
Ты
not
все
true,
врешь.
you're lying.
Слышали, как ему Бабурин всыпал?
And did you hear how Baburin beat him up?
А этот лишь ручки опустил,
No, this-
да
that's
глазенки
creepy. Why do they have to draw him
потупил.
like this? Ugh. And all he could do was look all pathetic and take it.
Прекрати! Ты знаешь, он не
No, he
один.
wasn't
И
alone.
будто этого мало.
And if that wasn't enough,
Ходят
there are
слухи,
rumors that
что
this
этот
weirdo carries a
чудик
bunny mask
повсюду
with him wherever he
таскает сам.
goes.
Ой,
Who's in
девочки,
their
ну
right
кто
mind
же
would
в
do
своем
something like
уме
that, huh,
будет?
girls?
Ясно, понятно. Со странностями наш Антошка.
I see. Our Antoshka must be truly special.
Может, слабоумный? А
Maybe
может,
he's an auto. Oh, I don't like that. Maybe he's that, but what if?
и маньяк,
he's a serial
если в его
killer?
портфеле
I'm
хорошо
sure you'll be able to
покопаться.
find an axe in his
Там и
backpack if you
топор
look hard
отыскать
enough, or
можно.
something even worse.
А может, да-да-да.
Yes, yes, yes.
Замолчи, заткни! Вон как раскричался-то, будто ужаленный. А зрачки-то, зрачки какие ж. Опять чего доброго с катушек слетит и руки распускать начнет. Не зря же его
I
мать
mean,
с
there must
таблетками
be a
пичкает.
reason his mom always feeds him those pills, right? I just stood there in confusion, trying to understand how she found out about my medicine. And what scared me even more was the possibility that her nonsense had some truth mixed in.
Да-да,
Yes, that's right.
он такой же ненормальный,
He's
как
as
и его
insane as his little
сестрица.
sister. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I guess I can't share it like that. He's as insane as his little sister.
Представляете, к этой сумасшедшей дурочке каждую ночь прилетает сова ростом в человека. Да-да. Только что-то ее никто из здоровых людей не видел. А этот наивный простак ей видел. Нет.
And then I caught a single kind look from the smirking crowd.
Как же так, Антон?
How can it be, Anton?
Неужели действительно
are you
тебе не
unwell?
здоровится?
Полина, послушай меня.
Please listen.
Как же, не слушай этого болтуна, Полиночка.
I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry.
Свистит он, что в Москве бывал, как пить дать. Это ничтожество, даже постоять за себя. А при случае и за тебя не заступится. Бросит, думая, как бы только самому... Слабак!
Polina slouched as if someone kicked her in the stomach, then burst out into tears and fell to the dirty floor, wailing and screaming. Seems a bit overdramatic, to be honest. Why? I couldn't understand her reaction, but I still rushed to Polina's side before getting shoved violently by Katya.
Убери от нее свои лапы, чудовище!
The fuck? Rage was building up under the veil of my fear. It slowly rose from the cloudy mist. I felt my upper lip creep up, showing my
То,
teeth.
что твой отец бьет мать,
The fact that
еще
my
не
father
дает
beat
тебе
your mouth
права
doesn't give you
поднимать
the right
руку
to
на
do the
дев...
same to girls. My fists became hammers. I couldn't unclench them. Nobody can speak about my family like that. Don't hit her. I came to my senses when I was already lunging at the angry cock.
Слетел-таки! Слетел! Спасите! Помогите! Петра с катушек слетел!
What? At the same moment, the crowd around her became louder. It started whistling and roaring. The subtle silhouettes of my classmates became larger and wider as they shot upward towards the ceiling. Lovely visuals. Turned into a giant black forest chock full of toothy faces. I shrank into a tiny ball of fur and started shaking in fear before the might of ulcer-ridden trunks that belonged to either tree like woods it was possible to tell.
Вот ты и показал свое животное нутро!
They finally showed your animal nature.
Трус!
Coward. My face was twisted with jubilation and ecstasy.
Антон! Почему? Нет! За что?
What do we do to her? She hurt?
Он! Чужак!
Creepy as fuck. Ew. Scary flapping wings came through the forest. A giant pair of white ears descended from somewhere above, and I dug myself.
Антон! Антон! Пожалуйста, вставай!
I jumped, almost falling out of bed. Apparently, I was slashing around for hours on the sweat-soaked sheets. Ah, fuck. Oya screamed, pulled me out, set me free from the tentacles of fear.
Антон!
That I don't.
Пожалуйста!
Anton, please wake up, wake up. It took my eyes a while to focus on the silhouette near the window. That's not. Oya's voice was distant. My head was still ringing after the fight. Sounds got distorted as if my ears were stuffed with cotton. My sister, as distressed as ever, just kept on repeating the same phrase.
Сова! Сова!
The owl, the owl.
Пожалуйста! Я
I'm
боюсь!
scared. Her tears poured on my heart like boiling water, but I was almost thankful for the owl's appearance. Otherwise, this scared I cannot speak. Otherwise, the scared Olia wouldn't have woken
Оля,
me up.
я сейчас.
Wait a second,
Хочешь,
Olia.
я тебе Мурзилку
Want me
почитаю?
to read Merzilka
Подожди.
for you? Give me. I placed my bare heel on the cold floor, felt around for my glasses, remembered Simon, his underhanded act, and said,
Антон!
I don't think that's her, and I don't like it.
Пожалуйста! Пожалуйста! Посмотри!
She can tear her eyes off of the window as if it were a staring contest. Oh, is that her, like, looking out the window? It's fucking creepy. I found the light switch with my hand, and the lamp poured bright light all over me. I got up. My vision fooled me, moving the window closer only to push it farther in the next moment. My sister was just a blurry spot. Oh no, that is not. I don't like that. I took a hesitant step forward.
Оль,
Olia,
что там?
what's there?
Что-то
What
ты
happened?
хочешь,
Do
чтобы
you
я
want me to
открыл,
open
что...
the curtains?
Нет, не надо!
No, please don't. Ah, shit.
Там же...
The owl is there. The voice was coming from behind. I knew it. Fucking knew that wasn't her. I turned around and froze from terror. Teary-eyed Olia stood in the doorway.
Кем?
Who
С кем ты разговаривал,
were you
братик?
talking to just now? She stared at me with eyes that were red from crying, with her hands wrapped around her shoulders. Her voice was nervous, as if she was afraid to hear my answer.
Я разговаривал с
It sounds
тобой.
weird, too.
С тем, кто
I was
притворился
talking to you, to
тобой.
someone who pretended to be you. No. I mean, at least, like, she's here, but that doesn't make me, who's alone in this room, feel any better. And the thing that pretended to be Ollie started spreading, changing shape, growing to scary heights under the light of the carnivorous moon. Nope.
Пожалуйста,
No.
подойди ко мне.
I'm not coming any
Подай.
The voice didn't belong to my sister anymore. The thing that was hiding behind my curtains got tired of pretending, making me look like a fool. I pinched myself as hard as I could, hoping that the silhouette near the window was just a continuation of my nightmare, a hallucination, brought up by the cursed house. And those don't bite, do they? The silhouette was towering before me, under the veil of mist. I heard Olya's shrill scream when someone had knocked on the door.
Она пришла за нами!
I stepped back into the middle of the room, as if there existed nooks where I could hide from this horror. The sun was sharp and metallic. The lamp started shimmering and then suddenly lighted the whole room and went out like a candle in the strong one. The filament inside snapped with a ringing sound. Fuck! Oh no. I hate this. I hate this so much. The darkness that waited for that exact moment poured from all the angles and enveloped me. There is only the window left, and the whole universe. Moonlight poured through it, painting everything the color of bones that were exhumed from a crypt. Ellie started squealing and pressed herself into my back, seeking protection. Oh, fuck. And then an eye burning with a carnivorous fire stared at us from the window. Knock, 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 knock. No, it wasn't trying to break the window, it was toying with us. It just kept knocking, driving us mad. That would be the time to at least try to leave the room. Even if your parents aren't gonna see it, like, it'll put you in a safer spot. Knock, 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 knock. As if a giant clock was measuring the time over us, its pendulum swinging above the abyss.
Уходи! Убирайся! Пошла
Go away, get out, shoo! She was screaming in desperation, her hands clutching my arm like a pair of pincers.
Антон, Антон, подойди.
No. Stranger danger. Oh, never mind. I could barely make out a pair of wings that spread out above
Скажи
the
ей, Антон!
Tell her, Anton.
Скажи, что я больше не
Tell
буду
her that I
себя
won't
плохо
be afraid.
вести!
Tell her that I won't be a bad girl
Никогда!
anymore.
Только
Never,
пусть
ever.
она
I just
уйдет!
want her to leave.
Пожалуйста!
Please. Oh, fuck. The moonlight suddenly disappeared and the room descended into darkness. We couldn't see the burning eye anymore. I swallowed the stingy lump that was in my throat. I stepped forward to the curtains, entranced by the call of the disfigured guest.
Не буду, не буду, не
Ollie was
буду, не
standing
буду!
behind me, mumbling, "I'll be good, I'll be good, I'll be good." The bleak window was creeping closer. Curtains rustled. I reached out to move them aside so I could look fear in the eye. At that moment, I heard a noise coming from my parents' bedroom. Without thinking, I pulled the curtains to the side in one swing. Nothing. Okay, I'm glad it wasn't another jump scare because I can't do jump scares. Though there was something shining on the ledge among the scattered feathers. My glasses. The ones that Simon took from me. How did they get here? Was that a gift from the gurgling night? Did the owl really bring them here? I looked at the front yard, at the foreboding clearing, at the toothy forest. Not a soul, not a trace of our late-night guest. Only the old lamppost, dreaming like a lone watchman among the snowy desert. The dry window frame creaked. I tore away the insulating tape and the stripes of glued newspaper. I opened the window with big trouble. Frost pinned me with its little needles. The paintings on my wall moved from the draft. I touched my glasses. Sure, they would melt in my hands, but they were real. My brain was scrambling for an explanation. Simon and his gang just pulled a prank on me. That was it. That's it. A smooth white blanket was glittering under the street lamp just outside of our garden. If anyone was to get close to the house to climb the pipe on the ledge of my window, they would surely leave footprints, but there were none. I cautiously took my glasses. Well, there's obviously footprints. They're just not human footprints. But these are like regular bird footprints. Wouldn't it be bigger if it was that huge? I don't know. My wrist was still intact. Nobody pulled me into the darkness full of restless
Вы
kids.
почему не спите?
Why aren't you in bed? Ah, damn it, Mom. I swayed from surprise and almost fell out the window.
Совсем сдурели?
Are you out of
Жарко,
your
что
mind?
ли?
Did it feel hot
Не
in
болели
here?
давно?
Do you wanna catch a cold?
Там сова
The
была!
owl was here,
Тоша
close
ее
to chase it
прогнал!
away.
А ну-ка марш
Go to your
спать
room
к себе в комнату.
immediately and get in your bed.
А с
Mom, I hope
тобой?
the owl takes you. And you. Mom paused, directing her seething eyes at me. She was thinking of a punishment equivalent to my crime. In the end, she just waved her hand, took Olya by the shoulder, and left, throwing gloomy words my way.
Завтра поговорим.
We'll talk tomorrow. Close the fucking window and the curtains. Managed to get the frame back in place with a couple of hits, pressed the latches in with all the strength my fingers could muster. The cold left the room, but the fear was still present. Oh no. Why did that scare me? I'm expecting a jump scare or something. I placed my glasses on my nose and started studying my reflection in the window. It didn't look like a face, more like a death mask. What the fuck? What is wrong with this kid? Just like the one worn by the boy from the notice board. That night, I was on the edge of joining him there. A black and white face staring at me through the clearing between students' heads. And it wasn't Vova. His face was right beside it. I recognized the fat cheeks, the damaged skin. Oh. Shit. Hey, January 9th, day before my birthday. Grade 6, he left school in the morning of January 9th and never returned. Go, wait. That's so he became the owl? That's what I'm thinking? So maybe the fox is Vova? No, Vova's a guy, right? But maybe he became the owl? Please call these numbers of Simon. Yeah, Vova's a guy. I don't know what he became. Maybe if there's a cat around, since he's holding one. That's scary. Fabian's photo was printed out and placed under the glasses like an exhibition piece. Placed under the glass. Episode 3. On end, the wolf's gray fur will stand. He's the one who hated Biberin. You think he did it? I've heard he's a weirdo. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses. Simon was clutching them in his fist when I was getting beaten up, and just in a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It's hard to imagine that Sioma suddenly got a guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. I was shocked but kept walking towards the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. That photo still stood before my eyes. Simon has gone missing. Simon is gone. I don't like how close he is. His fat fingers will never get to touch my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Simon to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son, or a grandson, and he went through the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? I didn't know the answer, or was I just scared of it? Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Sorry. Polina, the girl with a violin, was like a mountain spring, like well water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the zinc outer ring of the bucket, and can never get enough of. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I'll draw? The protagonist will save her from the terrifying monsters. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, smirking like little xenomorphs from the Alien. I immediately felt larvae of fear writhed in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Rumka and Biasha after what happened yesterday, especially since Simon suddenly went missing. I entered the classroom and went towards the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down, so I walked there in complete silence. It felt as if my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. They looked at me with a mortifying mix of pity, ridicule, and derision, like a scientist looks at an ugly representative of a newfound species of worms. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top of it, my fists clenched. I felt like I was the one who disappeared in that snowy forest, and my desk was finally being used for something worthwhile. Simon's empty chair stood in front of me, the chair that once belonged to Vova, gathering dust somewhere in another classroom. Any other interactions? No. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Baburin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed as if someone unpaused a movie.
Бабушка Бабурина такой кипиш устроила, когда он домой не... Сначала в школу прибежала, потом ментов вы... Да-да-да.
Yes. Katya snuck a cunning glance at me and then leaned into her neighbor and whispered something. Girls from the second row also leaned in and shared something with them too. Whispers. I'm so sorry for yawning. I kept catching her stare and myself. Her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt they needed to watch me because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent." The delinquents turned around and stared at me in silence. Their looks were dripping with malice. But why? What did I do to them? Their friend went missing and they're still focused on me. Suddenly, I noticed Biasha drilling a hole in my nose with his eyes. I felt like he was about to point his finger at me and shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone looked, but Baron snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer. But he remained silent as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Biasha knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me what. As if looking for protection, I clutched a ruler until my hand hurt.
Не надо быть Коломбо, чтобы догадаться.
You don't have to be Columbo to solve this.
Кто на Бабурина зуб имел?
Who held a grudge against Baburin?
Кто его вчера ударил? Поиздевался, а после...
The metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle that made the other kids shudder. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit, towards the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch wind of that change. Ramka and Biasha looked around and winced in contempt. Too bad they weren't afraid of me like everyone else.
Да прикуси ты!
Shut it.
Бабурин, небось, бабкой посрался и дымил на...
Just got a whipping from his old hag and ran off.
Скоро
We'll
найдется!
find him soon.
Найдется, ага.
They'll find
Во
him
овраге,
right in a
со
ravine with
вспоротым
his stomach
брюхом.
cut open. I gulped. Ugh. I imagined Sioma on a snowy blanket, his face white like a fish belly, split down the middle by a crevice from his mouth. Snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See, I could almost hear his condescending tone. It's all your fault. But why was Simon the only one to get his just desserts for bullying me? Weren't all of them supposed to disappear? Ramka, Biasha, Katya, along with every laughing onlooker? Of course, Simon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'd have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Polina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Polina went to her seat without looking at me. Bring your trill the announcement.
Так, заканчиваем бардак. Дети, встаньте.
Alright, stop messing around. Class,
Пит-
stand up. Clicked a little too much. Polina went to her desk, followed by a policeman in uniform. It was the man that visited us recently. Tall and his hair so sharp you could get cut on it.
Здрасте.
Hello there, kids.
Здравствуйте!
Садитесь.
You can sit down.
Познакомьтесь. Это старший лейтенант Константин Владимирович Тихонов. Он задаст вам несколько вопросов и проведет небольшую лекцию по безопасности.
Лучше лекция от милиционера, чем уроки.
The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. His brown eyes felt around the classroom looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck and an icicle lodged in my gut.
А правда, что бабурина
Is it
маньяк
true that
убил?
the friend got killed by a serial killer? Wow, no, not that I would expect this bitch to have any sympathy, but way to lay it on.
Екатерина, ну-ка цыц. Вопросы здесь взрослые задают.
Katerina, let the adults ask questions here.
Просто нам всем
We're
страх.
all
Может,
scared.
убийца
Maybe
бродит
the
где-то
killer's
рядом.
somewhere close. Maybe they're even sitting among us. Her sly stare was directed at me. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of desks and stared, walking at an excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers forcibly against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks to follow his movements. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth and stopped myself from screaming. Calm down. Breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a stern
Петров
voice.
Антон.
Anton Petrov?
Да.
Yes.
Встань, Петров.
My muscles turned to stone. I got up, unglued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all of my joints creak in the process. I only wished that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away, in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a ball there. So now, instead of being scared and wanting to stay away from the forest, he wants to be in the forest. The officer stared at me as if he was about to clock a pair of handcuffs on my wrist. I wondered how cold these bracelets are to the touch. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center where tens of Simons would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не
I
знаю.
don't know
Я тут ни
anything.
при
I have
чем.
nothing to do with this.
А тебя никто и не
He
обвиняет.
is accusing you of
Пока
something
что.
for now. Only then I noticed that a file that said case number in his hands. It had a gray cover made from rough carton. It flopped onto the desk like a guillotine blade and slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tikhonov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints in the snow. They looked like animal prints.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Have you talked to Simon Babarin before?
Я знал его всего
I
одну
only knew him for a
неделю.
week.
Все знают.
Everyone knows
Петров
that
его.
Petrov hated him. I turned red. You ugly bitch. He ain't wrong. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheeks. Okay. I don't know if it's the medicine, or if he is actually slowly turning into a rabbit or some sort of animal, but that's where it seems it's going. Instead, I replied in the calmest voice I can muster.
Мы повздорили
We had a
вчера.
fight yesterday.
Но он первый
But
начал.
he started it.
Я его
So I
ударил.
hit him.
Сильно?
How hard did you hit him?
Да нет,
Not
так.
that hard. I mean, I waved my hand indecisively. Tikhonov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lilia Pavlovna came to my rescue.
Бабурин проблемный подросток. С шилом
Baron is a
кое-где.
troubled teen, a true pain in the rear. That's a little fucked up to say if he's missing, but also I get, like... She kind of has to add that context. The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out of the file.
Это твое?
This is yours. It was my math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. It felt like even the writers on the portrait squinted at me in suspicion.
В лесу нашли. Там же тракторист, что снег убирал, в последний раз видел Бабурина.
I stared, blinking in bewilderment. Ramska ransacked my school bag. The notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnesses that could testify to Simon and I walking in different directions after that. I looked towards the boys, hopeful. Ramka, who sat behind Tikhonov, put a finger to his lips. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick on his nose. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Ramka would probably say something like, snitches get stitches in a situation like this. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Simon took them away yesterday.
Так что ты делал вчера в лесу,
So
Антон?
what were you doing in the forest yesterday, Anton?
Я в школу через лес
I go
хожу.
to school through the forest.
Могла выпасть легко.
It could have easily fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing this half-truth.
Будь
Be
осторожнее.
careful out there. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher
Класс.
said, "Class,
А
the
сейчас
officer will now
лейтенант
tell you
расскажет
the
о
rules you should
правилах, как...
follow."
Так
So the
маньяк
killer does
все-таки
exist.
Пока мы ничего вам
We
сказать
can't
не
make
можем.
any of this public for now.
Но есть преступник или нет, вы должны четко помнить о собственной безопасности. Вас бережет милиция. Вас опекают родители и учителя. Но в первую очередь защищать себя должны вы сами.
The police, your parents, and your teachers all watch over you, but no one will guard you better than yourself.
Итак, кто там что хотел узнать?
Questions. A stockade. I cannot talk. I feel like my mouth is dry or something, which is why I'm tripping over my words, and I also get nervous reading for others. A stockade of arms rose from the desk. The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policemen with questions. In an attempt to calm down after the chorus, we moved towards the blackboard. The gray file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it, my breathing so ragged that I might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were catching the officer's every word. Only Ramka was saying something to Bayasha. Lilia Pavlovna was staring out the window, fighting back yawns.
Комендантский час, причин пока нет.
Why? As soon as I touched the folder, Tikhonov lashed at me with his eyes. My hand instinctively twitched away as if that stare actually hurt. The officer just kept staring at me without a word, making me squirm under the weight of his uncomfortable silence and the sneering looks of my classmates. Just say you were trying to, like, you were gonna hand it back to him. I don't know. And then he suddenly continued his speech as if nothing had ever happened.
Слишком мало времени прошло с момента исчезновения вашего одноклассника.
Guess I'll skip it, like, fuck. The officer finished his lecture and then started searching around with his eyes. Ah, shit. He finally noticed the folder that he left on my desk and put it silently under his arm and went towards the blackboard without looking back.
И еще раз.
Let me say this
Если вы заметите в поселке кого-то подозрительного, неважно, возле школы или на лесной тропинке, телефон-то знаете?
You know our number. 02.
Спасибо, ребята.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Спасибо, Лилия
Thank you,
Павловна.
Lilia Pavlovna.
И это.
And to him, we'll find your classmate. Yeah, right, a thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe we'll be able to piece them together. Damn. Like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason and I couldn't control them. I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people. How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the hulking Simon? Should I tell the officer about her? Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they start whispering behind my back? Or what's even worse, think I'm insane? Rumka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I doubt someone like him would approve of my cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquent sitting in front of me. My hands
До
were glued to
свидания,
the desk.
лейтенант.
Tikhonov was saying goodbye to Lilia Pavlovna. He was about to leave. It'll be too late soon. I don't know. I feel like no matter what, it's a bad choice because I'm either going to get picked on by these fuckers or tell him and everyone's going to pick on me. But then if he finds out, like, I've been hanging out with some shady people and didn't tell him, it might be worse. I unglued my palm from the tabletop. I need to warn him, at the very least for Olya's sake, to assure her safety in the house and near the squeaky pines. I raised my hand, heavy as a dumbbell.
Простите.
Excuse me. Almost 24 heads turned my way. My teacher, the officer, Polina. Katya shoved her elbow into her friend's side. Sleepy Biasha stretched out his neck. Ramka frowned inquiringly.
Я слушаю.
I'm listening. I felt like I was being studied under a microscope.
Вчера утром по дороге в
Yesterday, when I
школу
was
я
walking to
видел
school in the morning, I saw an unfamiliar
незнакомого
person.
человека.
My classmates started whispering. Deep wrinkle.
Да откуда ему знать,
There's
чужак
no
это
way
или
he'd
кто-то
be
из
able to
местных?
tell if it was an outsider or a
Он же в
local.
поселке без году
We
не...
just moved to our village. The other kids marked Katya flashed an evil smile. I mean, while that's
Спокойствие.
true, she was. Even if he can't tell if she's normal, like, you can tell him and he can say if it's normal. Or even if it was, like, that's still weird behavior following a kid to school.
Антон, а
Can you
сможешь
describe them in
детальнее
more detail,
описать?
Anton? Then it dawned on me. I can do more than describe them. What can
Я
I do?
нарисовать
I
могу.
can draw them.
Я рисую
I know how
немного.
to draw, kind of. After spitting out this confession, I expected everybody to laugh, but that didn't even happen. Even Katya stayed silent. Polina tilted her head and studied me with an intrigued look on her face. I was pleased by this wave of attention. It made me feel bolder, so I asked,
Нарисовать?
do you want me to? He slowly
Лиль
nodded.
Павловна, мы тут проведем
Have a bit of an
следственный
experiment
эксперимент.
here, all right?
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста.
Of course, of course. Give me 1 second. Sorry, had to respond to Kyle, actually. We were gonna go to play Magic tonight, but there's a snowstorm where we are, and I don't think anyone's driving right now. Of course, of course. I took out a pen, flattened out a sheet of paper. What if they made, like, me actually draw it, like, with the mouse? That would be fucked up. My classmates stared at me in anticipation. Polina smiled, and it was the best reward I could get for my bold.
Ну что, Ван Гог,
Well, go
рисуй.
ahead. Go draw. What? Oh no, I don't remember what she looks like. Ah, shit. No, wait. Huh? Oh, okay. So I'm doing the fox mask. Oh, what if I... Okay, this is kind of cool, but if I actually draw, like... Oh, but if I turn this in, then... Shit. Do I want to do it right, or do I just want to kind of make a fucked up drawing? Oh, no. Yes, this. This is the woman that I saw. Ah, shit. How creepy can I make this look? Ooh. Man, I'm gonna get fucking laughed at for this. Oh, man.
Вот, пожалуйста.
Here. You're a true painter. Okay. Handed off my drawing to the officer.
Это что, лиса? Смешно,
Looks
юморист.
like the fox, very funny. I knew it.
Прикажешь ее по лесу с собаками ловить?
Should we send a pack of hunting dogs on trail? I felt like the window started shaking from wondering what he's up to, even...
Все не так.
That's not it. Okay, maybe you also met with...
А Чебурашка тебе не попадался?
What the fuck is that? A cult character created by that person. It's one of the main characters in the book, Gina and the Crocodile and His Friends. He was later featured in a series of cartoons, some of which were produced in Japan. Okay. Love learning these little random tidbits.
Вот
Learning something hilarious. I was burning at the stake of shame.
Все ясно.
Case
Что?
closed, I guess. Crumpled
Ну,
drawing his fist.
занимайте.
Well, I'll be going. Damn. Could I have made another character in the game, actually? I didn't even think of that. Like, could I have drawn the officer and then given it to him? That would have been funny. The bell rang. That
Придурочный.
job. Shut the fuck up, bitch. I'll kill you next. I didn't move, I just kept staring into space. Lily and Pevelina passed by without looking my way. Paulina left after her. My classmates went silent at the same time as if someone muted the sound on the TV. They followed me with their eyes the whole time I was passing between the rows. Judgmental looks. I felt like I was in the scopes of many sniper rifles. I squeezed through the barricade made of desks looking for Paulina. And these guys. But I stumbled on my new buddies instead. Rumka swaggered up to me.
Решил сдать нас ментам?
Но я ничего не сказал. Зато подумал на.
But sure as fuck you thought about it. I thought about killing you too. You want me to tell that to the cops? Rumka towered over me, breathing out a faint smell of tobacco.
Ты сильно ошибаешься, думая, что без Сёмы у тебя настанут веселые деньки. Можешь не притворяться дурачком, пытаясь удивить Полину своей мазнёй или корчить из себя психа. Мы тебя сосвету живем, понял? До скорого, очкарик.
My head tilted forward from his slap.
Вот the лохна!
You don't even have front fucking teeth, dude. Great. My nightmare clearly wasn't about to end. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. Same creepy house, same creepy people watching in the woods. The forest still held out its gnarly claws towards the village, and the wind whipped up white flags weaved from powdery white snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Olya. Boba's and Simon's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board. But something did change. I could see how different the looks my classmates were. The looks I gave you, I think. They met me with a new portion of pokes and insults. Contempt, mockery, and loneliness became faithful companions. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving a mysterious note. I glanced at the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats and humiliation, or... I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled a wafting aroma. Blackberry. Inside was a message in beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting at the dead end near the dressing room. Come alone. It's gonna be that fucking bitch. Watch. And then she's gonna be like, oh, he did something to me. He attacked me. He's definitely the killer. Drunk on that sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody is following me. even though I suspected it could be another trap set by Rumka and Biasha at first. The buzzing thought soon my love. Ooh, I cannot speak for shit. The two of them didn't have enough combined brain power to fake Polina's note so carefully. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around the corner. As soon as I did that, I rammed into somebody inside the dark nook.
Ой!
Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided to my feet. Polina puffed her cheeks and exaggerated.
Петров! Да ты совсем зрение потерял.
Lost your sight. Fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопился.
Sorry, I was in a rush.
Ты
Were
меня
you waiting
ждала?
for me? Did something happen? Polina studied me with anger in her eyes and clicked her tongue.
А знаешь, на что ты похож,
Do you know what
Антоша?
you look like, Antosha?
На блюзовую импровизацию.
Это как?
What do you mean?
Для меня все люди с чем-то ассоциируются.
I always associate people I know with something.
И для
I
меня.
do that too.
Но
but
не
I
с
mean,
музыкой.
Вот как раз с музыкой.
it can't be anything other than music.
Бывают люди
Some people I like
гитарные
guitar
соло,
solos, some are drums,
или
people
барабанный
like-
бой,
or
или
like
военный
vocal
марш, как
or
наша
war
Лилия
marches.
Павловна. А ты такой
And you're so thoughtful, so
задумчивый,
mysterious, sometimes even a bit
таинственный.
sad.
Ты точно
You're
блюз.
definitely blues.
А почему
And what about
импровизация?
the improv part?
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия,
It's when
какой
the
темп возьмет.
It's when the listener has no idea where the melody will go, what tempo it will adopt. Of course, some of the things Polina said went completely over my head. But I couldn't stop looking at her smile. Light like a breeze in May, and her eyes deep and blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и
One
вкус.
needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you.
Это не какая-то там
That's
эстрада.
some pop music.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот...
Polina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful.
Не произноси при мне такие
Please don't
слова.
do that to my face.
Я тебе
I'll
обязательно дам
make sure to give you a
кассету.
cassette.
Раньше мне дедушка из города
Grandpa used to
столько
bring me so much
музыки
music
привозил.
from the city.
И
Yeah,
джаз,
swing and
и
classical
свинг,
too.
и Это он подметил, что у меня склад ума, как у
He was the one
музыканта.
to notice my musical mindset.
Я еще совсем
When I was
маленькой
very little, I
пыталась на
tried
бумаге
recording
записать
sounds
звуки
with
природы.
paper,
Пение
the sound of
дождя,
wind and the sound of
леса.
birds.
Эх, мне бы твои уши.
А мне бы твои глаза.
And I'd love to have your eyes. I tensed up, worried she was making fun of me, but Polina shook her head.
Да-да, я
No, I'm
серьезно.
serious, you have the
У
eyes
тебя
of an
глаза
artist.
художника. Смотришь на вещи и
You're so good at
фиксируешь
picturing
их.
things.
Я
I
так
can't
не
do that.
умею.
And this cunt. Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glare. We dove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь, почему мы тут
You
прячемся?
understand why we're hiding
Вот
behind
из-за
pieces of
таких,
people
как
like her?
она.
А Катька,
And what
какая
kind of melody
мелодия.
is Katya? Polina flashed me a sly smile.
Скрип несмазанных
Making sound
дверных
of
петель.
unoiled door hinges.
Знаешь, такой
No,
мерзкий
this
дискант.
nasty descant. I giggled, covering my mouth. Katya didn't hear our whispers, but she glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. I remembered about the notebook. I was still clutching my hand. I turned it in my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side and the name of the owner had two words. Friends only.
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвал.
Прости, это
I'm
анкета?
sorry, is this a questionnaire?
Заполнял
Have
когда-нибудь?
you ever filled one? I lied and said I had. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill out their questionnaires. It was a bit upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your friendship, actors, and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was a sign of friendship. Maybe it's something even more, something I had only a vague idea about.
Хочешь,
You can
заполни
fill mine
мою.
out if you want. I don't quite get it, but okay.
Хочу...
А хотя,
Actually, there's so many
там же,
secrets in there.
наверное, лучше тебе не
Be
знать, о
better
чем
off
мы,
not
девочки,
knowing what we
думаем.
girls think, I think. She reached for the notebook, playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with its silky locks. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world. Fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it, steal it for myself. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tikhonov.
Ваша анкета является важнейшей уликой, и я вынужден временно изъять ее для изучения.
Lena covered her mouth that's rounded in fake horror.
И что мне грозит за сокрытие улик?
Следствие покажет.
We'll decide in the course of our investigation.
Сдаюсь, товарищ милиционер. Только обещайте ничего не читать. Здесь содержится секретно.
Боюсь, что мне все-таки придется выяснить, не влюблен ли кто в гражданина.
Lena burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with the aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent, with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper is hot like a piece of butter sizzling.
Тогда поклянитесь, что не станете разглашать.
Честная милицейская.
А теперь, Антош...
Alright, that was cute, but I haven't forgotten that she doesn't like fucking dogs. Okay. I was quite surprised to discover Ramga's jerky handwriting inside. Okay. His letters bulged out from the cells as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. Fearsome Ramga found the time for something so silly. I chuckled into my fist after I found out that Ramga's favorite cartoon character is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Somewhere in the distance, a teacher was reciting a piece of Andrew Snapper. I paid them no mind. Lena's page was decorated with flower drawings and clippings from the Cool Girl magazine. Okay, I wonder if maybe this is a thing that maybe like kids in Russia do, or like it's more of a European thing, because I've never heard of anything like this. Like, we had little games in elementary school and like asked our friends questions and stuff like that, but I've never heard of anything like this. Schubert. Her best friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violin like I expected. Much more mysterious listening. Do I have to remember those? Is she gonna quiz me later? How can such a mundane process be someone's hobby? I looked at Polina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with the pen. Anton Petrov, Class 6B. Okay. Took a long time to decide what my favorite musician until a trendy pop band, Carmen, came to mind with cool dancers in the music videos. Okay. Favorite holiday, New Year's. Hobby is drawing. My dream to go to Disneyland. Your hero. We're gonna... What if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, but I decided not everything should be disclosed on paper. That's how Da turned into Spy Darman. Spelling was wrong, but who cares? Your biggest fear. I immediately wrote losing a person who's dear to me. Oh, I thought we were gonna get to pick some of these. Your phone number, no secret here, 30395. Okay. Favorite cartoon, Transformers. Best friend, hesitated gnawing on the pen's cap. Your best friend, I heard the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time very important. The answer to that was my sister's name, so I carefully wrote it into the squares. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I repeated my sister's name while sneaking out of the school. There was a cute, freshly drawn dragon in my notebook that I made to please my beloved sister. In a land of darkness and deceit, her support was the only thing that inspired me to keep drawing and stopped me from losing hope in humanity. Refreshing, frosty air made my cheeks turn beet red. Alright. Just because not too much has happened, but we have been going for a minute, I'm going to end this stream. I know not really anyone popped in. I think we had one other viewer. But even if you're going back and watching the VOD, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!